This is my wife's 2022 Ford Bronco Badlands project that we started. First thing we did was swap out the wheels, as you can see here. What a huge difference that was. She waited months for this thing, and it's a factory soft top. We got a lot of really cool accessories we're going to do to it, which you'll see next. Next up, we'll be removing the factory soft top and installing the Best Top Super Top. These things look pretty cool without their tops on, though. I wanted to make her truck look different than everybody else's, and some of the aftermarket bumpers just don't do what I wanted it to do, and they certainly block the Bronco front cover and front label there. So this is the mock-up of how I built it. Some of the measurements, some of the things that I did here. I used all the factory bolts that were in the bumper to attach it, and just made special bracketry that would attach, as you can see here. I'm a tube fabricator, so this was a fun project. Took me most of the weekend to do, but I think in the end, came out really nice. Certainly complements the truck, protects it too, especially in parking lots and even in some off-road situations. So this is what we came up with. You can see the original white Bronco letters that were in the truck originally. My wife decided that she wanted to change those, and they got some covers that you can get in different colors. So towards the end of this here, you'll see we swapped those out for red letters, which really pops. And the front end view here really shows that you can actually see the Bronco coming at you instead of it being hidden by a piece of tubing. Here's a couple of quick pictures of my Bronco and my wife's Bronco together at a recent event that we went to. Pretty cool to see the early one and the new model one next to each other. They certainly look pretty cool. You can see the similarities too. There was a big poppy bloom up in the desert this year, so we took the truck up there on power line roads so we didn't destroy any of the flowers, and got some pretty cool pictures of it. Okay, for today's project, we are going to swap out the stock OEM fender flares. Here's the front, and here's the rear, with some Best Top early Bronco style looking flares, which will give it that vintage look. I'm not going to go through each step, but I'm going to show you as much as I can. Okay, we removed the stock front fender flares, and these are the first pieces that go on from Best Top. There's some push pins that you can use to line up the original holes that were in the body. You can see one right here, and Best Top gives you those. I suggest using those to line up the flare once you cut the double-sided tape and make your short pieces to pull off. I'll show you on the next part how I did it. So this is stuck on the right way, and now the outer shell is going to go on. Okay, this is one of the tricks that I like to do when you're running long pieces of double-sided tape. So if you cut a couple of in a couple of spots and then you tape it back to the body, Best Top also recommends this when you put the original piece on. I did the same thing. This makes it easy when you place the flare on the vehicle or whatever you're placing on the vehicle, and it gives you a smaller sticky area just to sort of place everything. Once that happens, you can put your pressure on it a little bit at a time and go all the way around it in the perimeter, and then you can pull the tape off as you do it at the same time. Okay, here's the front flare all done. And for those of you that are Bronco enthusiasts, you're going to see the early Bronco logo that we put on the truck too, instead of the original ones that came with it. So there you go. That's the Best Top front fender flare. My wife loves it. It's her truck, and she thinks it looks great. Okay, here's the rear passenger flare, stock. I'll go ahead and remove that and start putting the Best Top rear flares on. Okay, here's the rear fender flare removed, and we're getting ready to put first piece on. Okay, here it is on the driver's side with this outer piece going in first. You need to be able to get the new push pin that Best Top gives you, and that's going to go into that factory hole there, which you can see the fastener still in place. So that's not in the instructions. Make sure you remove that in order to be able to use these push pins right here, which are supposed to go in those holes. Otherwise, you're going to have big problems. All right, here's our final piece. Actually, it's the second of the final piece. You have to put this piece on. It's double-sided sticky tape. You have to be extremely careful when you place this. There's an easy, sort of an easy way to do it. Let's see if I can show you here. So right here, let me find it. Right here, if you line this little edge up right here with the flare, it'll be in the right spot. And then at the bottom, you have to do the same thing. Just kind of line it up, and it'll stick on. Then we'll go to the next step. Okay, you're going to have these little brackets. There's going to be 3 per side, and right here is a piece of padding. And basically what these do is these hold the inner shell to the inside of the rear door, as you can see. Now the instructions are a little tough to understand, so the ticket is make sure that you put the nut on this side, which you can see right there. I didn't put the middle one in yet, but here's the 2 upper and lower. So the bolt head goes through to the inside, and the nut goes towards the outside. That way everything clears. If you put them in the wrong way, you can't put the flare on the inner piece. All right, we got the Best Top flares on, front and rear. Here's the final install. Totally changed the look of the truck. Unbelievable. To me, it looks like what my early Bronco looked like. And I've been dealing with early Broncos for about 40 years now, so I'm loving how this one's looking now. And it works excellent off-road. So we got some more stuff to show you here in the near future. And till next time. All right, in today's episode, this is going to be a kind of a quick one. My wife's found a lot of little cool gadgets online and widgets for this Bronco that really actually help it. Some of them just look cool, but some of them are actually useful. So this first one here is a threshold cover. And these are neat because they pay homage to the 66 Bronco, but they also work really well in protecting the threshold paint when you get in and out of the truck. They're held on by double-sided sticky tape. A lot of these things are. Next will be these door pockets that she found. These are big, heavy plastic pieces that replace the door nets, which don't hold a lot. These hold a lot, very large water bottles and adult beverages, if you will. And then these guys aren't really cool, so she found these little widgets right here, which are going to go on there. And they just hold on by double-sided sticky tape just to wake it up a little bit. And she found these rope grab handles. And these things actually work really, really well when you're trying to get in and out of the truck, especially if you're height challenged. I'm not, but she is. And it works way better than the stock handles right here, which don't give you any leverage when you're pulling up. So these things just basically, they just bolt right in to where the bolts were originally, so it doesn't hurt anything, and they work really well. They come in different colors. These ones just happen to match the truck. The big improvement was right here with these amp research steps. These things work awesome. They're a bit challenging to put on. Mechanically, they're not hard to do. The electrical part is difficult at best. Took me a while to do that. They work great. They're good for people that are height challenged to get in and out of these trucks. These aren't real big tires on this. We swapped out the wheels, as you can tell, but the tires aren't super big. But even though these these amp research steps work really well, and they tuck up out of the way when you're out. We do take this truck out in the dirt, so they're up out of the way. We haven't tore them up yet. We're obviously not going in the rocks, and so on trail rides and overlanding and stuff, they work wonderful. She found this really, really nice bug deflector and front hood protector, which has made a huge difference driving around. It really works. They work well. She also got these red letter covers for the Bronco. She likes these because they stand out. They make these in different colors. Again, they're just stick-on style. And then obviously I built this really nice pre-runner push bar for her. And this is set up to where you can actually see the Bronco emblem in it. A lot of the aftermarket other ones do not do that, and that's not cool in our opinion. She also added these tow hooks. All this stuff's all bolt on pretty easy. These things work really well. They're in the factory position. And when I built this pre-runner bar, I made my own bracketry right here to use all the original bolts. So it uses all the stock bolts all the way around, and bolts on. Works out really well, and it's good protection in parking lots, etc. We also snuck in a couple of fog lights because we found out the headlights are super bright in these trucks in heavy rainstorms. Kind of hard to see. Put this in here, made those brackets right there, and bolted them on to where the crash bars were. We had to remove the crash bars because the tires were hitting. I know on the newer bigger trucks, the newer big Broncos, they are removed when they run the big tires on the Sasquatch model, so it's not like it's a big deal. And then we added these ditch lights here too. These are from our friend Peter at All Terrain Concepts. These were literally bolt on, wire them in, super easy to wire in with the way Ford set this up. We also added one of the All Terrain Concepts semi-curved light bars. So I helped Peter in the R&D of this thing at All Terrain Concepts again. You notice that the brackets are hidden underneath the original covers right there. That's something that we designed specifically for that. And the big thing that we did that really made a difference in how the truck looks is we added the Best Top Super Top. And versus the stock soft top, this thing looks so much better. Makes a huge difference in how this truck looks, and they just work really well. Coming around the back, got to add the Bronco horse back here. You can find those online very easily. Double-sided sticky tape, they look cool. We removed the Badlands label and went ahead and put that down here low so you can still see what it was. And inside the spare tire, there's a ring inside there that you can get to replace the third brake light, which I removed the third brake light bracket above this tire because it didn't fit really well. But now the whole wheel lights up when you hit the third brake. So working out pretty well. Lots of cool little gadgets that she's found, and there's more coming. Till next time.